So last night we made it to Virginia. It was very dark when we pulled in, but we are staying at Chickahominy River Park. And when we woke up, we saw this. It's just beautiful. It's a little tributary, or actually a large tributary, I should say, of the James River. We are about 10 minutes from Jamestown, maybe like 15 minutes from Williamsburg. And it's just beautiful, so peaceful, and the birds are singing this morning. There's a slight breeze. It's just gorgeous. So, I was getting ready this morning, and I was reflecting on the fact that these are probably the woods, and this is a river where Pocahontas would have been. It's just special to think of the environment where she would have played and grown up. We're so close to Jamestown, just what that would mean for her and for the settlers here. So I think, that's really, really special to be here. We're really enjoying it. We're just kind of soaking it in this morning before we head to Jamestown. I was talking with my sister-in-law about all these, ways to homeschool, all these different methods and styles and teaching styles and learning styles. And of course, every family has their own. They have their own style. They have their own kind of combination of philosophies, maybe, or teaching styles that work for them. But I was thinking about ours and what we do in our family. I think I've turned more and more towards the Charlotte Mason method. I just love the idea of her science of relations, of giving our children these experiences or reading these amazing living books that will inform them not just of facts and details and dates and characters and history, but of ideas, living ideas that are going to produce wonder and curiosity, that will be part of this science of relations where they will connect, and that's going to look different for every child. Today we're going to go to Jamestown. We're going to start this whole tour, and it's going to look different. What they experience, what they put together is going to look different for every child. It's going to be meaningful, but I'm not supposed to necessarily control that. I'm supposed to provide the feast. And so that's what we're working on doing right now. That's what we're working on doing today, is starting that feast being laid out, or actually continuing it, because we've been reading these wonderful books, but now it gets to start to come alive in a whole new way. So I love to travel, and I love to go on these adventures like this, specifically because it makes history come alive in a way where the children and we get to touch and experience and feel it. I mean, to be out here right now thinking and imagining Pocahontas canoeing down the river right here, and the meaning and purpose God had for her life, the way he redeemed and rescued her out of such darkness and pagan worship. Just thinking of her soul, not just her character and her role in history, but thinking of her soul, thinking of the longings of her heart, thinking of how many times God saved John Smith's life in this area, right? And other times in his history. It's just very humbling and awe-inspiring and faith-building. So my prayer this morning for our trip and for this day is specifically that God would ignite those relationships that he wants in our children and for them to have, and that we would be faithful to lay the feast and to have the conversations and to consider the wonder of the ideas that he puts before us, and just invite him to really be our master teacher on this trip. So that's kind of where we're at, and what I'm really excited about. I'm thrilled for him to be the master teacher, the rabbi. There's so much that he can teach us beyond just the facts and figures and information. There's truth, there's wisdom, there's connections. It's his story that he wrote in history. He was sovereign over all of it. And I think that's where I get really excited, and I pray that our children would start to see these themes of his faithfulness, not just to our generation, not just to the Bible characters, right? But to all of history. He has always had his fingerprints deeply into the details of everything happening in human history. And I want him to awaken us to that. So join us today. It's going to be a great adventure. You like our view this morning for breakfast?
Yeah.
It's really pretty, isn't it? Really pretty out. Sayla thought she saw a deer this morning.
These ships are replicas of the Susan Constant, the Discovery, and the Godspeed. They crossed the Atlantic Ocean on a difficult 3-month voyage, using the crosswinds that flow off Africa and then using the Gulf Stream current to ride north along the coastline. It took lots of dedication and hard work. It was fascinating to learn how they navigated the waters.
Now the navigator knew how to take this information off of here and start charting it on a map. So you turn over a 30-minute sand glass, and when the sand went through, a bell would ring. A bell rang on the ships every half an hour. So a bell would ring, and so the helmsman would know that it was time for him to check the ship's compass again. So that's what he would do, but because it was the second half an hour of his watch, he would move out to the second circle of holes, and he would put the pin in. So every half an hour, he's repeating that for his 4-hour watch. They would pull this back in. They would pull this apart so it would lay flat, so there wouldn't be any resistance, and they would wind everything back up to get ready to do it again.
We also got to visit a recreation of Powhatan's village. I wonder what it was like living in there. Pocahontas probably lived in something similar. With a campfire and animal hides, it might have been kind of smelly. Just like our camper van. Just kidding.
I like sleeping with animals, but I'm not sure about this.
Well, it must have been kind of cozy, except for the bed, I guess. Wow, look at all the things they made by hand. They must have been really creative.
They had to live off the land
And hunt their own food.
and grow it.
Nothing went to waste.
Every 10 years, they would move their camp's location to one of 3 areas.
They knew how to build homes and supplies.
So did the Englishmen. But they had a lot of skills to learn from the natives. And the natives could learn from the Englishmen too.
You can forget about the tablets, kids. In those days, you would have been working really hard.
And it was a lot of work for everyone. But in the end, Jamestown endured.
All right, so what's for dinner? Tonight we are having some sliced up chicken and some peppers and onions that have been cut up. We're sauteing those. And I'm gonna put that with some coconut aminos and some brown rice. Just very easy, but since we're gonna be on the road for 6 weeks, I wanna eat healthy. I don't wanna be just eating lots of fast food and to go, and it saves money too. So it means we have to stop at the grocery store maybe every couple days and figure out the next 3 meals that we're gonna cook because we do have a small refrigerator, but it is possible to eat healthy and feel good, and so that's what's for dinner tonight.
Like and subscribe.